Let's have a closer look at the MD Optimus Buggy today. A relatively simple car that impresses with good results in the Dakar Rally. So who's behind this and what's the story? In 1990, Antoine Morel started as mechanic in the Dakar Rally. In 1998, he participated with a bike for the first time and became last. But the important thing was that he saw the finish line. He competed with a bike in the Dakar Rally for the next 4 years, before he switched to a quad in 2003. At the same time, he, with his experience as driver and mechanic, prepared 10 bikes and quads for customers. That was the start of his company MD Rally Sport in northwest France. In 2005, he won the Dakar quad category and reached his goal to win the Dakar. But now he needed a new challenge. He started designing his own car. He wanted to build a buggy with the Honda S2000 engine, so a naturally aspirated 2-liter 4-cylinder. He called Jean-Louis Schlesser, who was famous for his Dakar buggies, and Schlesser told him that it wouldn't work. Morel hung up the phone and did it anyway. That was the birth of the first MD Optimus with a weight of only 900 kg. And by the way, the name Optimus comes from his son's toy, the Transformer Optimus Prime. He thought that would be a good name for a Dakar buggy. So let's have a closer look at their garage and see what we find here. The Optimus is powered by the Corvette LS3 engine, so very similar to the Century CR6 with the LS7 engine, but here with 6.2 liter instead of 7 liter. Like the Century, advantages here are that the engine is quite simple because it's naturally aspirated. It has a lot of torque, which is great for soft sand. And it's relatively cheap and parts are easy to get. Also, it's designed for a higher power output, so reliability shouldn't be a problem. They then have a longitudinal sequential 6-speed gearbox behind the engine. Also here it's protected by a separate frame, which is easy to remove. Also the engine is easy to reach and these two pipes can be removed, so it's easy to swap the drivetrain. The radiator sits on top of the engine, which keeps the cooling system simple, but also increases the center of gravity. The Century has a large radiator in front, so it can be mounted lower. The Optimus has a double wishbone suspension at the front and, in contrast to the Century buggy, trailing arms at the back. So that takes a lot of longitudinal stress off the suspension when you hit obstacles, but it also limits your ability to control the wheel position during bump and rebound. The Optimus has a tire inflation system at the rear only, and only one coilover at the back. The Century has the inflation system at front and rear, and 2 coilovers at the back. The French buggy has a 400-liter fuel tank, and the spare wheels are positioned at the side for less inertia. But spare wheels in this position also increase the center of gravity. The Toyota, for example, has the 2 spare wheels underneath the cockpit. The Audi cannot have it there because the battery is in the floor. For detailed information on all of the other Dakar competitor cars, check out my other videos in the playlist below. The cockpit itself is in a pretty high position, and that has a reason. Morel used his Dakar experience and built a buggy with a high, upright seating position and a low front, for better visibility over dunes. Upright windows also reduce their size, which reduces heating up the cabin under the sun, and it's reducing reflections. So it's a very functional body compared to some designer cars. Also, the windows are very straight, so you can just cut them from a flat plate, which makes it easy to repair and keeps the costs low. At the front, they only have a small oil radiator. The latest version is the Optimus EVO 4 with a new carbon fiber bodywork, reducing drag and lift and increasing top speed were the top priorities. You can see how they raised the rear end in order to keep the flow attached. The front wheel arches are very open and guide the flow gently outside along the spare wheel, which were integrated very nicely. Their old buggies had smaller front wheels, but then they only had 2 spare wheels for the rear. So now they have the same wheels all around, although it's not an all-wheel drive car, and the spare wheels fit everywhere. Also, the engine has its own roof scoop on the top now for the cleanest possible air. So all in all, we have a buggy here which is designed and built by professionals with many years of Dakar experience in various categories. The design has been updated year after year, and today we have a buggy here, which is currently, after half of the Dakar, in 12th position overall, with Simon Vice. And all of that for around half the price of a Century CR6, which in return is less than half the price of a BRX Hunter. So how do you like the MD Optimus Buggy? Let me know in the comments below.